Hello! I'm outside in the sunshine, desperately trying to absorb some vitamin D. The weather has been so miserable here lately, being that it is the middle of winter, so I just decided I needed to get out here and get as much sun as possible. It's time for a studio update, and I am going to wander back into my studio soon to do some work on those little calendar pictures that I have. I've got 3 of them, I haven't done them, so I'm going to do those today and do a voiceover chat with you, but I thought I would at least try and start off the video with some film of myself. So I'm out just in a t-shirt, trying to get some sun on my skin, which has not seen any sun since Greece really, which was in May, and now it's the middle of July, so yes, desperately needing that sunshine today. But I'll be back with you soon in the studio. I have May, June and July to do, and I've been putting it off. I've just not really been in the mood to fill these out. May one's already got something stuck on it, but I thought I'd just take some time out today to put some little collages together and fill all 3 of these out. I have ideas for at least one of them, and I guess I'll just work out the rest as I go along, so let's get into it! I'll start off with May, and I have a few scrappy things which managed to make it home from Greece with me, including this, which is torn off a placemat from the Baroque Bistro in Kefalonia. It made it all the way home. I've managed to get ink all over it. It's such a mess, but I might as well use that. And I also want to salvage some of this paper bag which had a gift in it. And you may have seen it in a previous video. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, I got these calendar pieces in this box from Grabie, along with a whole bunch of other scrapbooking stuff, and I've been trying to fill them out throughout the year. Managed to get really behind with that, but today I'm going to make up for it and do all 3 calendar pictures that I'm missing. So I trimmed up this bit of paper. I decided not to keep it all, just the sign and the crown, just kind of a little souvenir from one of the places that we ate at a couple of times. I had intended on sticking this in my sketchbook, but it was just a bit too big, and for some reason it managed to come all the way home with me in my bag for weeks on end, and I just didn't have the heart to throw it out, so I thought I might as well cut some of these bits and pieces up that would otherwise go in the bin. I also didn't know what to do with this paper bag. It was kind of annoying me and I just wanted to get rid of it, so I thought I'll cut off the little drawings that the guy did and then maybe use that string as well. You can see I've tied it in a bow. I'm using some glue tape here just to stick everything down after I fiddled around trying to get it in an order that I liked. I changed my mind about 1,000,000 times on this, but in the end I also managed to cover up that little mark in the right hand corner, decided the crown needed to go in its initial place, so I had to peel it off and re-stick it, but it wouldn't be a collage without having to change my mind a few times. So once I'd stuck all the bits of paper on, I then tried to sellotape this little bow on, but it wasn't working, so I found some craft glue, really old, very gummy, but it worked actually pretty well to secure the bow down. I thought I was finished, but then I found this tiny little handmade in Greece sticker, and here is the final collage. It's not as exciting perhaps as other ones I've done. I should have maybe done something on the background, but never mind, I'm going to move on to June. When we got home, we had a couple of chocolate bars left over from Easter, which we ate. I just thought the pictures were so cute and I really wanted to keep these. But I really don't need the whole wrapper, I just want the 2 little pictures on the front, so I thought I'd cut those out and use them for June. I mean, ideally these would have been better for the Easter one in April, but never mind. Better late than never. They were, of course, a little bit too long, so I trimmed the bottoms of them. And this time I decided to start off with a background. I'm using some Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 crayons, going in dry to begin with, and then I will wet them to activate the crayons and make them run a bit. Here we go, I've got my brush with water here. I took this set of crayons to Greece and barely used it at all, so I decided today that I would use them. It's actually a really handy little set, and it is great for travelling if you actually end up using it. I thought I'd add in some abstract wildflowers, so I'm just basically painting from the crown and then adding the colour onto the background, rather than colouring with the crown onto the paper first. I had a couple of little flowers on the little offcuts, so I cut those out as well, and I'm going to stick them on too. I was letting the background dry while I did this. Really, I did not plan these backgrounds, they just kind of happened as I went along. I was able to get inspiration just from doing one thing and then it would inspire another idea. So I stuck on all the little flowers in the middle here. That glue tape is really handy, and then it just felt a bit boring on the background, so I started drawing little swirls with all of the colours that I'd originally used in the background. And I'm actually liking how this one turned out. even though it's a very summery vibe. Well, I guess it's summer in the northern hemisphere. And because I've been feeling a bit low, it's nice to put some bright colours on, and that always cheers me up to some extent. I hate the winter blues, or is it seasonal depression? I don't know. I talk about it a bit in my next video actually, but in the meantime here is the finished product, and I'm so glad I was able to keep those chocolate pictures because they're really cute. Doing collages like this is such a great way to use up little scraps and things that you don't really want to throw away. But now I'm on to this month, which is July, and last weekend Nick and I got some sushi at a local place. The hand rolls came in this adorable little paper bag, and I just knew I had to keep that picture, so I brought it home in my handbag. And another thing which brings cheer for me is cutting things up with scissors. It's quite cathartic using blades to savage bits of paper. But the back of the bag had a bit of rice stuck on it, so I wiped it with a wet cloth, and of course this made it go all soggy, so I've trimmed up the bag a little bit more because half of it is just kind of unusable, just keeping the picture, and I had to take out just a little notch in the middle so that I could see that July bit. And because the paper was soggy, I decided I might as well use Mod Podge to glue it down, so I'm painting it all over the back of it, and then I stuck it down as much as I could. I also went over the top, so it's like a decoupage, and then it didn't really matter if the paper was a bit messy because the glue will set it all eventually once it fully dries. So let me know in the comments if you're someone who tends to save things off paper bags and other random items to use in future scrapbooking or journaling projects. It's amazing how much cool stuff is out there, and it's free too. So I wanted to add some more colour, but I just wasn't in the mood to be precisely colouring. I instead grabbed a damp sponge and dripped on some Bombay India inks, and now I'm just blending the 3 colours of ink out onto this piece of paper. The Mod Podge was still quite tacky here, I was just way too impatient to let it dry fully. I made one heck of a mess here. But I actually really like how this page turned out. I've just got a primary colour palette here, and these 3 colours, you can't really go wrong with them, but it had lost quite a lot of detail, so I'm going over everything with a white paint pen just to bring out some highlights in the faces and on the different little bits and pieces that were in the picture. I think of the 3, this was my favourite, because I had actually thought I'd destroyed the paper when I wiped it off with that damp rag, and I was thinking, how can I save it, because I really want this picture on my calendar page, and fortunately the Mod Podge worked well enough, so once it had fully dried and the ink had dried, everything set really nicely and gave it a really glossy finish. So I guess this video hasn't really been a studio update as such, it was just a chance for me to do these calendar pictures which I'd been putting off for ages. It is winter here, and I haven't really been doing much, so I haven't got a lot of news to report. Everything's been pretty quiet at the moment. I also thought I'd share this in case you're stuck for inspiration as well. It's not always easy to come up with new ideas for art, so I tend to find little arty things on the most random of items. I love how this page turned out, it really cheers me up, and the colours are gorgeous. That little sushi bag is so cute, and here are all 3 of the pictures that I got done today. This first one probably could have done with a bit more colour, but I'm glad to have used all those little scraps up, and now they're on just one piece of paper. Here's my late Easter chocolate collage, which turned out quite nice and bright. And then my last one, which is the sushi bag, that is definitely my favourite of the 3. Let me know in the comments which one you like the best, and I'm happy to be back up to date with these calendar pictures. Well, the clouds have come over once again. I think that's about all the sun we're getting for one day. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day out there, and I'll see you all again really soon in my next video. I'll swatch you later. Bye!